Well, hi everybody, Lisa Tamati here. Once again, fantastic to have you with us. I'm here with my wingman again, Neil Wagstaff, sitting over in the beautiful Hawke's Bay. How are you, mate?
Good, buddy. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. And today we've got another fantastic episode for you. We have just come off the back of our weekend run seminar that we haven't had in the weekend in Havelock North, in beautiful North Island of New Zealand. If you're listening to this from overseas, that's sort of in the North Island on the east coast. Beautiful place, and we had a fantastic weekend. We had a full house of 30-odd runners come to learn everything about running, but they actually went away learning a heck of a lot about mindset and about motivation and about nutrition and everything else in between, and was really, really a fantastic weekend. We are running another live event on the weekend of the 9th of November, 9th and 10th of November, again in Havelock North. If anyone's interested, I'm going to put a link in the show notes for you to register, and you can find out all about it. We'd love to have you come and join us if you want a fantastic weekend with like-minded people that are all into health and fitness and learning about upgrading their minds, their running skills and their bodies. So it's really a fantastic weekend. Neil, how did you find the weekend, mate? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, out of this world, mate. Out of this world. It's always the energy at those things, the excitement, the stories that everyone brings to it. It just makes me smile thinking about it. It gets the hairs up on the back of my neck because everyone's there for a different reason. They're there for a common interest of obviously of running, but they've got their own goals, they've got their own why, and it's those special stories that make it for me. It's just, yeah, it's so cool. And to see people evolve over the weekend and coming a little bit unsure about what they're capable of and realise by the end of the weekend that, wow, I can do a whole lot more than I thought I was able to do.
Yeah, it's really fantastic to see that. And, you know, one of the main themes that keeps coming and reoccurring at these events and, you know, with us dealing with hundreds of athletes and coaching, we get this common theme coming through, which is that people come to us and they qualify everything like, hi guys, I'm really interested in your run coaching programs, but I'm not a real runner, and I'm only just a real slow, you know, middle of the pack, or I'm just starting out, and everything is qualified with the words, I'm not a real runner. And so we're going to do an episode today about I'm not a real ... because this is a thing that's not just to do with running, but it's in every part of our lives. I find a lot of people are going around saying, I'm not a real so-and-so, or I'm less than what we think I might be. And we're going around with this lack of self-confidence, really, in who we are. We're not sitting in our power and in our, you know, confidence that we can really achieve a lot of things. You know, when I go, you know, I'm studying a lot at the moment all about real estate investing and all of this, and this is a new area to me, right? So when I go to see an expert, I don't want to go in there qualifying myself saying, I'm a complete numpty, I know nothing about anything. But I do go in there and say, look, I'm new to this and I'm really keen to learn. But I don't go around and say that I'm a complete idiot, because that sets me up for being in a lower position, you know, and for being not confident in what I'm actually going to do. Yes, I might be new to a new skill, but that is nothing to do with where I can get to. And that's nothing to do with how I should be seeing myself. You're just learning a new skill. And each and every one of us is a newbie in one area and an expert in another. And we don't need to feel ashamed about this fact when we're starting something new and it's scary. And we don't need to qualify this, well, I'm not a real runner, or I'm not a real athlete, or I'm not a real business person, or I'm not a real estate investor, or whatever your area is that you're going to try to find out about. It's super that you are there to learn. And it's really important to sort of stand in your own power and say, this is who I am. I'm an expert in XYZ. I'm new to this area, and not have to go, you know. So Neil, like you heard it again and again in the weekend, eh?
Yeah, and interestingly, throughout the week with some people I've been working with at the gym and some of our regular coaching clients as well. I've done a couple of coaching calls this week, and one of the things we've been working on with a few of the clients is really what are your strong words. So I often ask people that, what are your strong words? So rather than starting a sentence with I'm not or I can't, starting with I am and I can, but what is the strong word? I am strong. I am a runner. I am good, I am great, I am a superhero. So the minute you reframe that in your head, and start a sentence with that, all of a sudden the whole direction of the conversation and the situation will change. The other bit, just backtracking a little bit on what you were saying, is what the way you're approaching situations, which is gold. People often forget that they've got a multitude of experience and a huge skill set that is very transferable into the new thing they're a newbie at. So I might be a newbie at certain things you were talking about, obviously the property investing, but the years of experience you've got in other aspects of life are going to pull through to that. And all of a sudden you start to understand it. You're going to pull on that skill set and pull it through and go, actually, I understand this. It's just looking at it through a slightly different lens. So it's really about how you're entering a room, how you're entering a conversation, how you're setting yourself up. We had, using the weekend as an example, a group of unsure people who left feeling a whole lot surer about what they're able to do and what they need to do and how to do it. It's almost like they've now got the formula that allows them to go, I am a runner. One of the ladies I spoke to this week, she's done more ultra marathons than I have, more multi-day stage races than I have, because I haven't yet done one. And I'm sitting there coaching, explaining this to her, saying, actually, if we look on paper, we could argue that you're more of a runner than I am. Who do you think's more of the runner? She's like, you're the runner. I'm like, actually, you're more of a runner, so I should be the one. I should be the one, and I definitely think I'm a runner. So it's just qualifying it in your head so that the confidence lifts as you move forward.
Yeah, and you don't need to be the absolute best in the world to even be a teacher. Like you're like you said, you're a running teacher, and you were my coach for a decade before we even got into business. Now, did I go to you, like you haven't run 150 ultra marathons or anything? Are you therefore not as experienced or not knowledgeable enough to help me? No, the opposite. Because you can see it from a completely different perspective. You come from the science and the whole logical thinking, and I'm in this athlete state of, yes, I have the experience. And that's why what we do is a really super good combination of experience and science behind the whole thing. And this is, just understanding who you are, what you're capable of, and to see the transformation in the people over the weekend from coming in all nervous, coming into this new environment. And every time we go to a course or a conference or a learning, it's a scary, uncomfortable feeling when you first arrive at the front door, isn't it? Nobody knows each other. And you're sort of like, oh my God, what am I doing here? And are they all going to be super athletes? This is some of the mentality of people coming into it, and afterwards they tell us this. I came in and expecting everyone to be superheroes, and expecting to be told you've got to train harder and go more, rah, rah, boo, booyah, and all that sort of shit. And that wasn't what they got. They actually got a whole lot of amazing information on the how-tos of what they came for, but they left understanding their why, and they left feeling empowered in that the doubtful thoughts that they're having, the fears that they're experiencing, the guilt that they're experiencing is common to the entire room, and that includes you and me too.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's so powerful, just to understand that shared experience instead of putting everybody else up on a pedestal and I'm down here as the lowly beginner on anything. And we tend to do that. We tend, to always see everyone else as better than us and as having everything together. And when you look around the social media world that we live in, that's very much what is portrayed. And you are always comparing somebody's Instagram moment, which is a highly curated moment, okay, of their best moment during their run at the top of the hill or for the camera. You're not seeing the grind and the shit and the tears and the stuff on the way to the top of that mountain. You're only getting the snapshot. And then you in your life are going, oh, I couldn't do that, and they're better than me, and everybody else is running 100 ultra marathons a week. That's the sort of feeling you start to get. And you've got to remember, like, social media is just so curated. So Facebook, for example, knows exactly what you're into and will feed you 1,000 runners doing 1,000 crazy things every week. And so you get this misconception that the whole world is out there running better than you are, when it's not true. Facebook is just picking out what you're interested in, and therein lies the danger. And this has been discussed before with the elections and things like that. You are getting fed what you are actually interested in, and therefore it skews your view of what you're seeing. in what you're actually experiencing online. And just being aware of that whole dynamic. And this isn't just in social media, but it's very prevalent in today's world that we see a lot of beautiful plastic people with lovely photos. And then we think that what we're experiencing in our internal world, you're comparing it in our bad moments and our hard moments against somebody's beautiful picture. And it's just completely an unrealistic perception of the world. And this is like the beauty of being something like a live seminar like we did. People have a perception of me, they have a perception of you, and then when they actually get to meet you, it's nothing like that. They realize you're just as human as everyone else with the same
exactly. And that was one of the most comforting things for everyone at the weekend. It was by far one of the most comforting things for them to just, that you could see the relaxation come across their faces when they were like, these guys are normal.
Very, unfortunately.
Yeah, these guys are normal. They do normal stuff. They're like us. And once you realise that, you can stop. Then it's people stop feeling like an imposter, and they start feeling like they're at home. And that's really what we wanted to take away from today, is that we're not imposters. We can feel at home if we understand our why well enough. Then we can relax and do what we need to.
Yeah. And so imposter syndrome is therefore whenever you go through life and you're starting to feel like, I shouldn't be here, I'm not good enough, I can't be teaching this because I'm not the number one expert in the world. If I want to go to the gym and build some muscles, do I go and engage Arnold Schwarzenegger? No, because he's like so far out of my perception of what could possibly be, then, just having someone 1 or 2 steps ahead of you or 3 steps ahead of you is all you need. You don't need to be the best in the world. So if you're that teacher too, you don't need to be 100 million steps ahead. And we talk with other run coaches too that are, they have a special niche and they go, oh, we're not like you though. This is often the conversation I've had with people. I'm just taking absolute beginners. And I go, yeah, I'm taking absolute beginners too. Oh, I thought you'd only be working with the elite. No, hell
so
no.
True. Yeah.
And everyone has the area where they feel uncomfortable, and I'm certainly not comfortable with Olympic athletes, because I've never been one, and I don't have, that skill set or those genetics, and I understand more the battles of the everyday person, and therefore I'm comfortable in that area teaching to people that have these issues, and I don't really give a shit about the top 1%, but good on them, they'll find better coaches than me for that. And so it's understanding where you sit in the world and then sitting in that power, and then using those words, as Neil said, those in your thought processes, saying, I am a master of this. I am a runner. I am strong. I am able to do this. Not, oh, I can't do that. And oh my gosh, that's so amazing what you do. I could never do that. And all that. If you hear yourself saying those things, just understand that person's just a little bit further up the mountain. They're not at the top of the mountain either. We're all on differing degrees of different mountains.
And those people we can learn so much from.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I've got very, very comfortable with over the years is, as you said at the start of the podcast today, is that asking, just going, well, actually, that's amazing. How do you do that? Being very comfortable that you don't know it, and getting someone to explain to you how they've got there. That's exactly how we've moved through and how we've gone up is to go, oh, hang on a minute, explain that again. I don't fully get it. I don't understand it. And then all of a sudden you learn and realise that actually that person was in the same position as we were last year. And all they've done is got a little bit further ahead, so we can take that information and move forward. I think as well, to add into your why, is just really drilling down, which is probably another podcast in itself, Lisa, on really working out what your purpose is. So really understanding what your purpose is, what your position is and purpose is in life. And once you get comfortable with that and you understand what you want to be sharing, what you want to be doing, who you want to be, it's really easy to be in your own skin. And we're not falling into that trap of making the mistake of, I should be this, I should be that.
Yeah.
Because we're comfortably every day, just sitting there comfortably going, this is me, this is what I want to be doing, I know what I'm doing, I know how I'm doing it, and I'm not looking around again, I should do that, I try and do it and it just feels wrong. You really, really take the time to work out what you should be doing.
What your purpose is in life and where you're meant to be sitting in life, and that realizing you can't do everything. And this is one of the beautiful things about getting older. There's a lot of negatives about getting older, and we all know those very well, but there's a hell of a lot of benefits too, and it's called wisdom. And if you're learning, and if you have an open mind, and if you start to develop your skill set, then you you know, just because you've been alive for a long time, you've got a lot more experiences to pull on and to share from. And if you keep an open mindset and continue your education, then you can end up feeling a lot more stronger as you get older than, you know, I know certainly I do. Like if I look back even 10, 15 years ago, where I was then as to who I am now, it's like, you know.
It's night and day. It's night and day different. I remember from when we first met, the language you used to use then and the language you use now, it's night and day. And we all evolve, we all change, and we should be comfortable. We should be comfortable doing that.
Yeah, and that should be our goal, is to educate ourselves on an ongoing basis.
100%. And it's, and the challenge off the back of this should be, how many times this week can the listeners go out and say, everyone that's listening, I am. So I am ...
Yeah.
And I can ... and I do ... How many times can you get that in? And just the saying it out loud, I am a runner.
Yeah.
I can run, I do run, is it just, it makes me feel better saying it out loud. Yeah. It's great.
And stop apologising for existing. Oh yeah, half people just go through their whole lives, oh sorry, I'm not an expert in this area, or I'm not this and I'm not that. Just having the confidence to say I am, and even if you don't feel it in the moment that you're saying it, you're suggesting to your subconscious, and we did that podcast last week on reprogramming subconscious.
Correct.
If you haven't heard that, go back and listen to that, because reprogramming your subconscious is what we're talking about here. We are talking about, and that's repetitive use of that language where you want to be, even if you're not there now. I am a master of X, Y, Z. I might not be yet, but that's what I'm putting into my mind. That's suggesting to my mind that I am, to my subconscious that I am, and it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. It will, if you keep saying it and if you keep understanding it, and if you go and do the deep work. Last week I talk about, you know, self-hypnosis and things like that can speed the process up. And, you know, like I was listening to another podcast today, and it was all about, you know, focusing on the end goal, you know. So even though it might seem ridiculously far away, I want you to give yourself permission to set a big audacious goal and set that and visualize that future. Where are you going to be in 3 years' time? Where are you going to be in 5 years' time if you fulfill this dream? Are you going to, you know, be running UTMB, or are you going to be running Badwater? You know, and it can be a ridiculous dream. See yourself there. Visualize the newspaper articles being written about you. Visualize the stories being told. Visualize the book that's going to come out. This is the sort of stuff I do. And then I work backwards from there. Okay, that might be a pipe dream right now, but it's there as my indicator of where the hell I'm going. That's my true north, if you like. And then I work back from there. So if I want to get to there, what do I need to do in the next 5 years? And what you'll typically find too is that you'll go, but that's so far away. But if you, in the first year, just do 1/10 of what it would take to get there, you'll find that you'll gather momentum over the time. Okay, so the first year you might be just out of the blocks. You might just get your first 10K done, your first half marathon done, and you're still dreaming of Badwater. Okay, but the second year you might get to an ultra marathon, and the third year you might get 2 ultra marathons, 3 ultra marathons, and then bang, you're there. It speeds up. And this is the power of like compounding interest, right? I'm learning all about compounding interest in regards to real estate. The power of it is that the interest gets the interest of the interest.
Yeah, it's gold. It really is gold. Yeah. And I often say to people as well that when people are looking at it, if you could take 50% of this big goal that you've taken yourself in the next 12 months, would you take it? And no one has ever said no. They're like, I take it. And to your point, it's even taking that much and watching how that'll grow and that'll grow and that'll grow. Don't look for perfection, look for consistency.
Yeah.
If you be consistent, then it's gonna happen. If you look for most people that are looking for exact perfection, it falls over.
It's that micro commitment thing.
Yeah.
So if you do, you might think it's an unrealistic expectation to set this lofty goal that you've got, and you can't even see the pathway to getting there. But by taking those steps and making a commitment to work on it every single day or every single week, depending on the goal, and just doing half an hour every day on it, or, you know, I'm going to commit to reading one book a week, or I'm going to commit to going to the gym 3 times a week, or I'm going to commit to meeting with my friends and running for half an hour, you know, twice a week, whatever those micro commitments are that build it into a daily habit. And then that gets snowball effect, so that you actually start to gather momentum. And then all of a sudden, when you look back, what you've achieved in a 12-month period, say, it's just like, holy heck, I really did that. And that gives,
and then all of a sudden you're saying, I can, and I do.
Yeah. And you're starting to head for the stars. Yeah. Getting out of the start box is a really hard one. And then keeping that momentum in the first months when you haven't seen progress yet. And you won't. Yeah. You might get some quick wins. Like typically with runners, what we see is that if like absolute beginners I'm talking about, and they don't even know how to, you know, like run non-stop for 10 minutes, is that they get some really quick wins. Within a month, we can have them running for half an hour straight through, and they're like, whew. And then it typically slows down a little bit. And so it's understanding the nature of learning and the nature of plateaus, and understanding how to push through to the next level and not giving up in that lull, you know. When, you know, working with my mum, once again, to bring an analogy from there, we would have times when she'd start to make leaps and bounds forward. Not literally, she's still not leaping and bounding anywhere, but
she's not far off.
She's getting there. We would make really big gains in a very short time, and then we'd have months of nothing, absolutely no progress. And when I'd look back over those months, I'm going, and those are the times when people give up. And those are the times where you've got to push down, double down, and keep going. Keep that persistence going.
I agree.
When you push through to the next layer, that's when you'll get another lot of improvement, you know?
Another little boost. Nah, spot on, Lisa, spot on. Totally agree.
Yeah, so I think that's probably enough for today, guys. I hope that was a bit of a help for you. Another mindset tip. You know, this is a running podcast and a fitness podcast, and there's a hell of a lot of mental stuff, because, to be honest, this is
big piece of the puzzle.
Huge piece of the puzzle, whether you're a runner, an athlete, person in business, you know, in the corporate world. There's all these same challenges that come across, and this is why the crossover between all the disciplines, you learn it for running, but then you actually learn it for life, or vice versa, you know, so it really helps. So Neil, any last words to add on, you know, phrasing things positively and not making an excuse, you know, apologising?
I am a runner. That's all I've got to say. I am a runner. And I'm proud to be one.
I'm a master. I want you to go and write a list, guys. I've got a list on my fridge over there. It's got, I am a master of, like, there's 50 things on this list that I say myself that every time I go to the fridge, which is quite often because I like to eat, I have to read 3 or 4 of them before I open the door. And that reinforces in my mind on a subconscious level, repetitively, I am a master. And then I'll go around in my head saying, I am this and I am that in my mind, you know. And I have entire runs, like when I'm on a treadmill, I do this, for example, where it's boring as hell. I'm on a treadmill, there's nothing to look at anyway. So I just go into this mantra, and I'll pick a couple of things that I'm working on to reprogram in my mind, and I'll just repeat the mantra over and over and over for a good half an hour until I drive myself insane. And then I'll go home and I'll start to see the fruit of that labor, not only physically from the training session, but mentally as well. So there's a quick tip for you. Go and do that.
Easy wins.
All right, guys. Well, as usual, if you want to reach out to us, you can get hold of Neil and I, Lisa at runninghotcoaching.com or Neil at runninghotcoaching.com. Check out our website too, lisatamati.com. Check out all our programs, our Mindset University, our Epigenetics program, our running programs. Come and join us on our Facebook group. You can find that, just look up Facebook groups, Lisa Tamati, and hit us up on social media. We're really active on Instagram and on Facebook and YouTube. We have a huge YouTube channel. On that point, I just wanted to remind people, actually, I've got about, I think it's 8 documentaries on my YouTube channel, full adventure running documentaries from places like running through the Gobi Desert or Death Valley, the Himalayas, Australia, the outback of Australia. There's a whole lot of good stuff there. If you want some full-length movies and you're sick of Netflix, come and check out my channel.
Much better viewing. Much more
interesting viewing. Certainly better than the Kardashians, I can tell you that much. So yeah, check those out. Just hop on over to the YouTube channel and put in Lisa Tamati And I've got a playlist there of ultramarathon documentaries, so check that out. Right, guys, thanks for your time today. We'll see you again next week. Thanks, Neil.
See you guys. Nice one, mate.